Hello Stout Club members, it's Jared here at Brew Republic, and today we're going to go through everything in your latest shipment for January. If I do say so myself, it's a pretty epic case. So let's start. First, Rocky Road Fudge Stout from Seven Islands Brewery out of Greece. They've been brewing for 7 years. Not a lot of people know who they are, but they've been slowly gaining traction and gaining steam. And from what I've heard, it's the one beer in here I haven't had. I'm going on reputation that they do some of the best pastry stouts out there. We did include one pastry stout this month. I'd like to hear feedback from all club members on how you feel about pastry stouts versus more traditional imperial barrel-aged stouts. If you like a mix, if you want to go one way or another, or a small enough club that we can tailor this to our members. So give me feedback. This should be really lush, 12%, perfect dessert beer, something to have a little bit more fun with. And on to the Netherlands now, Brouwery Kees. This is a very confident brewer. He's named his brewery his first name, Kees Boeberman, from the Netherlands. He originally brewed at a brewery called Emmelies, which had quite a reputation about 7-8 years ago, and when he left, the reputation kind of went away and he started his own brewery. I remember when I was living in the Netherlands 6-7 years ago when he was just starting this up that his early beers were blowing me away. His export stout is fantastic. Some of his sessions are great. But he really made a name with this caramel fudge stout. The name kind of suggests that it's possibly a pastry stout, but it's not. It just has that character from the malt that he uses. And we did 2 different versions of the base beer for this month. I thought it would be fun to compare the base caramel fudge stout, one of them done in a cognac barrel and one of them done in a Buffalo Trace bourbon barrel. So this would be fun to have maybe back-to-back nights and see if you can kind of pick out the difference that the barrel character gives the beer. These ones come in at 11.5%. Okay, on to the next beer in the case. You know it's a pretty good case when the most pedestrian beer in here is a McKellar and Northern Monk collab 9.5% Imperial Coffee Stout. So part of their Patrons Project series. If you're not familiar with this, it's always very cool to kind of open up the label here and learn a little bit more about. See if you can see that. Learn a little bit more about the series, about all the brewers, artists, and everybody that collaborated on it. Including Coffee Collector from Denmark. Perfectly balanced imperial style, as you can imagine, with Northern Monk and McKellar. McKellar's coffee beers have always been incredible, so this combination is fantastic. Again, sad to say that's the most pedestrian beer, but it probably is in this group, but it's still absolutely fantastic. And one of only 2 that aren't barrel aged, with the inclusion of the pastry stout. On to probably the darling of the bunch to me. Is Brouwery de Struise. De Struise is a Belgian brewery, and they're in Flanders, out in the west of the country. Actually, almost a stone's throw away from Weissleiteren. If you've heard of Weissleiteren Trappist beer, it's one of the most famous beer geek beers that you have to hunt down. So they're near St. Bernardus, they're near Weissleiteren, but they don't really brew a lot of traditional Belgian beer. I mean, they do have Flanders beers and Belgian dark strongs, but they really do a lot of barrel aging and big imperial stouts. They're very famous for a beer called Black Albert. Black Albert is one of the OG imperial stouts from 10 years ago or so that everybody wanted to get their hands on. It's in a pantheon of imperial stouts in Europe, in my opinion, and most people's lists. So what Cuvée Delphine is a barrel-aged version of Black Albert. It's done in Four Roses bourbon barrels, if I'm not mistaken, still. Okay, and on to our last 2 beers in your January case. Arguably the 2 biggest hitters in the case. We have Babs 3 by Wild Beer, Barrel Age Blended Stout, their 3rd iteration of their blend. They initially got the idea from Firestone Walker in the States, in California. They used to do an anniversary blend where they would blend their high ABV Imperial Stouts and barley wines. Lots of really complex, big, multi-high ABV beers in different barrels to create their anniversary blend. Wild Beer does something similar with different barrels, but they're all imperial stouts, so they're not blending other styles into this. The biggest difference with this, besides the typically a red wine barrel, a bourbon barrel, are included in this mix, but this one has two different imperial stouts that are from sherry barrels. So you really get a different character here than the last two Babs editions. So with those high alcohol notes, this beer does clock in at 14.5%. You will get those sherry, port, kind of almond, caramel, oxidative characters you'd get in a spirit or a digestif. So really, really great one for the end of the night. Really, really complex. I would say if you're craving a dessert after dinner, go with the Rocky Road. If you're craving a digestif, it's something to really sip on for a while and really taking the alcohol slowly, this is your best bet. Very much looking forward to this one as well. And last but not least, clocking in at a mere 15.1% is Danish heavyweight Tuul with their Liquid Confidence, but this time aged in rum barrels for 10 months. This is arguably Tuul's biggest imperial stout release. This and Goliath are both very, very famous. A lot of people like to get their hands on them. So this edition being laid down the rum barrels is very exciting. If you haven't had it before, it's really a chili stout. So it's used with ancho chilies, guajillo, and I believe chipotle chilies in this beer. So it's a really warming alcohol. It's not like on a jalapeno burn. It's just a warm spice that slowly builds. Again, really, really high alcohols with that nice sweet rum barrel character. This is not the easiest one to get a hold of, so this is definitely one to enjoy. And again, I think all these are something to brag to your mates about, but this one you can rub on their face a bit. I hope you all enjoy Stout Club. We love doing this. We're members ourselves and we enjoy it thoroughly. Please get a hold of us if you have any suggestions, if you've had anything amazing, if you want to see the club steer a certain direction. As I said, we're all relatively small group of people here, so we can steer this and make it your club. Cheers.